work at the same time.
And the patience aspect is so serious, but the patience aspect really impacts on those who know, because sometimes those of us who claim that we know have to go through the same thing over and over with those who don't know, and we can become impatient. So the patient aspect really impacts on us. And as I said last week, we went to a Stop the Killing meeting, and there were those in the community who knew better, or one particular individual who has been doing this for a long time, telling those who are just coming for the first time that I'm tired of this, and I'm not coming to these meetings no more. We have to be really careful not to do that. That is so dangerous.
And we have to be really careful not to do that with our children as well, because we always transmit our feelings. And, no matter where we are, there's always a level of growth and development. And Allah said in the Qur'an, old men for counsel and young men for war. And each of us need counsel. All of us need counsel and guidance. Thank you very much, Brother Paul. All of us. All of us need guidance and counsel from someone who's either been through or going through it and has gone a little bit further than us, so that we can see the light of their footpaths already, so that we can go the same way. Because what we do is, unfortunately, because we're living in such an individualistic society, we think that we're the only ones who are going through this issue. We're the only one whose child is rude and out of order. We're the only one whose child is being openly rebellious or being an open disputant. We're the only ones who's feeling the pain, and we're the only one who wants to drop kick them. But that's not the case. All of us can be going through.
It is a program.
That's
it's
right.
mathematics, as Brother Leo was saying at the meeting.
And it is, and that's what we were saying last week, that it's a scientific and mathematic process. It's a life cycle. And because of the environment that we're actually living in now, it's become part of the cycle, where children are actually given a license. As soon as they hit teenage, they're given a license to start being rebellious, to be disobedient, to be rude, to not comply with the rules and instructions that they've been given.
That's right.
Here, you're a teenager. This is what teenagers do. Says who? Says who? They don't have to. They don't have to, but they're programmed to do that. And just the same way as we're programmed to say that, going to work and coming home is enough, or that's life, and going on holiday like once or twice a year, children or teenagers are programmed for that rebellion.
Programmed for failure.
Yeah, that's right. From like when they're 13 or so.
Now, that was a long intro, sister.
We're moving.
We're rolling straight in.
We're moving.
This is participation 2.
Right, because it's part 2. That's right, and it's life cycles, and it's called round 2. Our title is round 2.
Oh, round 2.
Round 2.
Like a boxing match.
Kind of like a boxing match.
Ding ding.
I knew you'd do that. That's why I didn't do it.
Oh, you programmed me.
That's right.
Okay.
But this is Life Cycles Part 2, brothers and sisters. And last week we spoke about life being a systematic, a scientific and a mathematical process. Everything has their own way, their own acts of devotion. And acts of devotion is just another way of us living the life the way that God wants us to. We see it with the birds. We see it with the bees. We see it with all of the animals. We see it with nature and how nature's changing. We see it with the insects and the plants, where they have a set amount of time or a set amount of depth that they grow down to, the roots grow down to, before the shoots start coming up. That's mathematics. It's also scientific. But we also have the same program. We're programmed to do specific things throughout our lives. When you first have a baby, sisters and brothers, you should know this too. When we first have babies, what happens is, in this society, we get a little red book if it's a girl and a little blue book, and it
might be different in your part of the world.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I forget.
Don't worry, sister. I've got your back.
Okay. Now, we get little books that the child development books that the society have in order to chart the development of the child. So when you go to see your health visitor, when you go to the development clubs, what happens is that they map the development of the child, and they see whether the child is growing properly and developing properly. So they have milestones. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Okay.
They have specific milestones for their children in this society. So by the time a child is 3 or 4, they should be able to dress themselves.
Okay.
I know by the time the child is 2, they should be working on developing, on dressing themselves and stuff. By the time that they're 2, they should be starting to be potty trained. But we know from the time that they're 6 months or so, we can start potty training them. So the milestones in this society are a lot slower than the milestones that we have for our children.
Okay.
The national curriculum is another one.
I just wrote that down, sister.
Well, I don't
Who's
have my
reading
glasses
whose
on.
mind?
The national curriculum is another one. One size fits all.
Yeah.
They have guidelines of where they believe that the children should be at Key Stage 1, 2, 3 and GCSE levels, okay? Now, we know that our children can perform at a lot better and a lot more efficient rate. We know that the Honourable Elijah Muhammad told us that if you rear your children properly, then by the time they're 14, they should be able to go to university, the latest. So it's about the different
14.
standards, the different standards that we have and the different standards that we set for our children to work towards. Now, all of this is part of stopping the killing, remember? And it's not just stop the killing, because we've got to move on from there as well. Because when you take something away, you have to replace it. It's not only stop the killing, but it's start the living. It's about us moving on from where we are, because we can talk about stop the killing for another 20 years. We're not actually telling the children what we want them to do.
But is it possible... I hear what you're saying. Is it possible to start living while killing is still going on?
Of course it is, because you can be in it but not of it.
Okay.
Well, of course it is, because a bone has got to start rattling in the valley of the shadow of death.
Yes.
And then that will cause a reverberation, an echo on all the rest of them. Then someone get knocked and then, like domino effect.
Getting knocked around,
And then it will start to generate speed or motion or energy throughout the others. So it's about...
Starts a vibe.
Right, so one of us, thank you. That's right, a vibration. That's the word that I was looking for.
440 hertz.
Right.
The A tone.
Right, so I'm not going to go there. What I'm going to say is, brothers and sisters, that what it does is it starts a reaction amongst the others. So if I say that, you know what, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do something different. I'm going to dress different. I'm going to wear different clothes because I believe in Allah. I believe in Islam. And you know what? I'm going to show it every single day. Now that has an effect on other people. So when I'm walking down the road, people look at me like...
Life amongst death, yes.
Yeah, why is she wearing that? Some people may come and ask me, why are you wearing that? And it may end up in a conversation which, generates life between us. Somebody else might say, oh, that's lovely. Someone came to, oh, that's lovely. Who made your clothes? Can I have their number? So it's about each of us, when each of us know what time it is, each of us have to then step up and act in accord with the time. So it's not for us to wait, in the valley of the shadow of death, because we'll be overcome by death. The death will overshadow us if we don't start moving. Minister Farrakhan gave us a great parable. He said, from the time we're born, we're fighting a battle, a chase, a race with death and life. Life and death are following us. And we're chasing, that's right, and we're running. And I've got to outrun death every single time.
And put some distance between yourself and death.
Right. And I may even look over my shoulder and think, well, I need to pray more. Gosh, I better get involved in the Ramadan fast.